Greetings, welcome back. Here we are in the village, summertime, and we will continue where we left off last time. In the time that we've been away, I've done a little more looking into the storyline, where we're going to go with things, and I had some storyline here and there as we go, as you already know, and we're going to continue to progress forward in the game just as it's intended. Pace, slow, easy, steady, and purposeful, I suppose we could say. Now, before I did definitely have this person having logs, paper logs, but I'm kind of curious about that. I don't know if that's going to be the go. Let's see here. We do have 2 water fields. Don't think that we need this person to constantly be gathering fur. I think I'd much rather have us getting right into rice farming so we can make sure our needs are taken care of really well. Speaking of which, I realized last time I forgot to do a thing, which is, don't want our people eating all of these ingredients. Anything that can be made into food later, we don't really want them to do that. We want to be able to keep those resources ready to make into recipes, not have them take it all and eat it, and then us not have resources ready to go. It does mean we needed another rice bag, so Dynasty level 8. Okay. And we are 5 experience points away. Okay, well, let's see what we can build that would allow us to continue. Ooh, a stirring tool. Someday we'll need that. And there you go. 30 experience and set. Perfect. Alright, then now we can actually build. Perfect, the tailor's workshop. Alright, now we do not want the tailor's workshop to be close to the village, since that tanning bat's not going to be the greatest smelling thing. So we want to put this a ways away. Let's get ourselves started in on this. Plenty of sticks, plenty of things, but it looks like we're, oh my. Okay, so we're running low on planks. Okay. It tells me that it's nice and all to think about having the paper logs and getting to that point, but level 12. We're a long ways away from paper making, so that's not something we should be going after right now. But we'll focus on just having them get the coniferous planks so we can keep building buildings and expanding here. By all means, the real place we need to be right now is continually expanding this village, making sure that we have all of the needs for our people taken care of, and that we can make good use of our space and expand as we go. Oh, speaking of which, thank you for the suggestion. Ooh, somebody has caps lock on, it turns out. Gohan. Or Lakeside. Because indeed, we are Lakeside. Thank you for the suggestion. Happy to have that as the village that we have here. Now, we'll continue building up. And from here, we already have a good wood storage. We do not have a beverage. Yeah, we do have beverage storage. That's what we got last time. I think we have all the storages at this point, except for tool. There we are. A loom. Now that shows me an idea that we need to get into. We need to find some of those resources. There we are, and we're set. Let's drop these into here. And now, that's not bad actually. Where's our person? And they're in the water field, and they're set. We are good to go. Alright, with that, it's time for us now to think about the needs of our people. Need to get those last bits going on. We get the water. Now, I know my character's low on food, so this is a little bit of a questionable thing. I'm going to use the water as our food source. We've been working a lot, and it's summer. I suppose we can argue that we'd be thirsty. Let's see here. We do need to think about making bronze at some point, but we don't really have the technology at this time. Now, it's time to make sure our people have food. Traveling on the road and taking care of ourselves, Kuroi and Akko, is so much different than taking care of an entire village full of people who are looking and depending on you. Just leaving Father's mansion and his estates and his foothold in the area was immediately a challenge. Just to find everything you need to eat and to survive in the area. It was not simple to travel on the road, but by no means was it something they couldn't handle. And I'm noticing now, I do not want my people to have to walk down streets in the dark. It does not seem fair to them. Speaking of taking care of the needs of our people, we need to make sure that they can see their way and that they feel safe. The dark can only influence that which it can touch. And as long as we can keep the light in our village and the light in their hearts, we can keep them going. These are challenging times. Now, the other thing we need to make that oil lamp. I wonder if that's something I can do here. Oh, 200 coins. Yes, indeed, we have 200 coins. Darn right. Let's go for it. So, let's make a few of these. Now, I'd obviously like to have paper lanterns. Obviously, I think those are prettier. But this is going to go just fine for us for now. Alright, let's get to our lighting decorations. There we are. I always get confused for some reason. Alright, now I'm going to hold down Shift. And that should allow me to continuously place them. Nope, I was holding it at the wrong time. Let's try that again. Now, we'll head this way. Hold down Shift, and we should be able to do more than one. Yes, there we go. Perfect. There we are. That's what I'm talking about. Now, the place is a lot more, feels a little more livable, and a little more lived in. We would like our people to feel safe, and we want them to know that they are safe while they're here with us. Of course, we should also drop some water in the well here. We know that the people have been talking about the temple, and they mentioned that as you're traveling down the road, you should see it in your view, and keep it in your view, and you'll know where the abbot is. But we'll travel down the road. It looks like it should be within view the whole way. And we'll travel there, and we'll see what we can learn about this region, and what we can do to help out our people, and to expand, since we know that we're going to end up building here in due time. Building here might be a challenge too. I know there's a huge project in this area, so our ability to unlock this region for its resources might be a little ways away. At least for now, we can start out and get ourselves close to it. The amount of years that have been spent traveling is probably crossing Kuroi-Ran's mind a regular basis. I mean, just the natural feeling of just wandering, traveling, keeping to oneself while traveling, not drawing attention, knowing that there are certain people you can trust and certain that you cannot, and trying to figure out how to stay out of view as much as possible, and the challenges of staying out of view in the evening when needing a fire to stay warm, or finding those little hidden nooks that you can get to that will allow you to still have a fire and still survive. Traveling through from her home province to the north, or towards the coast, really, would have come with a lot of danger and a lot of risk. Since armies would be on the march, this is the time where most of the regions that she is from and has traveled into have been either been a place where soldiers travel through, or just in getting between one place and another, or that they're actively there to change the leadership in the area. It was fortunate that Auntie came and found her, of course. Fortunate in her eyes, although there's always questions about to what level is this fate, to what level is this chance, and to what level is this more than chance. And it looks to be that there's a camp here, not far from our home, which is a real problem. This could be a problem for us and our people. We don't need somebody scouting the area and deciding that we are raidable. Let's go here. It appears to be only one of them. Harvest the bush right in front of us and then leave us exposed. Let's see if we can draw their ire. Obviously, we don't want to get ourselves in trouble with somebody who can end us and who has no health bar. That'll be challenging if we can't defeat him. Now, what would be handy, oh boy, what would be really handy is to not get eaten by a wolf and taken out by an ironclad soldier who seems to be on his own, either acting as a scout or I'm guessing he's a scout. Enough to get you knocked down, enough to fatigue you. And as per usual, oops, check where that wolf is. There we are. As per usual, the iron armor is good, and armor is always good for some people, and it is helpful in a battle. But as has probably been found in other cases where isolated soldiers have seen Auntie and Kuroi-Ran on the road, a soldier in armor can't last as long on the run as a person who is not so burdened. Healing compress, that'll be helpful. So it looks like he was perhaps scanning the area, perhaps coming out to see what's out here. We may never know. He seemed to have a notebook there on that site, so it does appear that he is trained enough to know how to read, how to write, and clever enough to have been trained to survive on his own. It wouldn't be unheard of for it to be a scout checking the area. As to what value they're hoping to find in this area, who knows? But we do think this tea bush will be a great resource for us. It would be nice for us to make some tea properly. Maybe I can convince Auntie, or maybe Kuroi-Ran can convince Auntie to drink this instead of her Doruku. Now we did just lose track of the mountain, so we'll have to see where we're at. But a good part of traveling is just knowing that there are ways to figure out your positioning, checking where the sun went, that way. So we should continue this way down the road. There we are. And there's the mountain again. It's quite the roadway. By staying away from the road, we can avoid the chance encounters with bullying soldiers. We also do avoid any other people who could find along the way who could help us out. Foxes in the area. We'll allow the foxes to be. Since Kuroi-Ran is a very spiritual person, foxes are going to be left alone. There will be no reason why we would defeat them unless we're looking to anger the spirit and then cause ourselves some mischief. Let's see what we can end up finding in this area. Now if I can get up to this mountain here, that would be quite helpful. But we do have a stream ahead of us to cross, and that's a very big problem. It's reasonable to assume that there's really no reason why she would know how to swim. There's really not much benefit to it. It probably hasn't been encountered in her life, so it does make sense why we would not be able to swim. Now we just need to figure out where we can cross safely. And more soldiers. They are a distance away. I wonder if we can. I wonder if they can even get across. Oh yeah, they can. We'll get ourselves lost in the weeds here. It might be a little more than we're ready to take on at this point in time. We'll stay into the grasses. And again, take advantage of our speed and their lack of speed. At some point, running in armor in the heat of the summer day is going to be a little too much for them, I would imagine. This appears that we could cross here, perhaps. See how deep this river goes at this point. Oh, interesting. You are in a very unsafe place. Sorry, wardrobe you out. That makes sense. Alright, you should come live with us. Definitely. Oh. Let's see if we have any home spaces left. Perfect. Well, we do have workshops. We'll have to build another house. I could assign her to get us more... I would say... Would definitely get more fur. That wouldn't be a bad idea. We'll have to come back, though. I think what will happen is we want to keep this up with the farming. Oh, it's only a field of 14. Ouch. That's the one I made for me. Let's change it. Let's change it to having you gather water. And with one level of worker productivity training, that's pretty good now. Well, there's the pathway up the mountain, and there's a lot less people over here. I'm a fan of this. And oh! Well, it's probably time to be a simple traveler and see more of what's going on in this area. Since we're so new to this area, there's really no reason to assume that we would know anything about this area. It may be our new home, but that doesn't mean we have studied this one yet. This is us figuring out this whole place. An expansive village. Appears decently well maintained. Rather well. Walls that have been put together with purpose. Good number of people, some soldiers. A village council one. Where are you going? Eventful life. You serve on the cultural. Council, that is a rare thing. And they let you stay in charge. This is a great thing to see. This is a very rare thing to see indeed. A refugee. Traveling from a ways. Forced leave home. How can I convince people of Aratani to cooperate? We may need more. Is there food? Interesting. So you're telling me this is a farming village. That is perfect. We could definitely use these people on our side. We need to farm ourselves some wasabi and wheat. That we can do. We will have to figure out who we can buy some of these seeds from. You there. Nice. Now we can easily... Do we have a wheat bag? No, of course not. We'll take on some wheat. Although, obviously, I can just fast forward the quest right now if I just want to. See here, that'll cost 180. I think we are in a good spot. And now, interesting, canola. Yes, we will gladly take that. Canola is going to be a big deal for us to make oil out of. So let's start ourselves out. Obviously, we need to keep our funds high. Interesting. And we're in such a good spot for money-wise. It is impressive how much you can get away with early on. It is worth having all of these resources, as much as I hate to just purchase my way up. These are worthwhile resources to trade. We have fairly gotten what we have now from here. I would say, indeed, quite the expansive farmland. Perfect. This is good news for us. We would definitely want to partner with this village. But we are on a mission here. We need to get to... Oh, and they could use help rebuilding. Toshichi and his crew would be glad to help us there, I'm sure. It was his idea to help rebuild this entire area. And it was his idea that we start small and that we make a presence, and that anytime we need help, that we come to him and his people. Since we helped rebuild Sosogi, they would love to watch this valley be reborn. So, we'll gladly lean on him for some help for this. Canola. Nice. Now this is quite a benefit for us. With no roadways here, this should be a very safe travel. Although with no roadways, it also does raise questions when you find something. Exactly what is this? And who are these people? And there are two of them. A husband and a wife who have escaped? Impressive. You leave, burn to grow your fields. Come live with us. Do you know much of farming canola? Because I believe that is where we are aiming to go. Oh no, it took the headman and took away our crops. Yep. A husband and a wife. We'll have to make sure that they end up in a house together. So, before we assign them a home, let's make sure that they end up in a home together. We'll say that they were husband and wife traveling. They made it from their village free, and now they'll just need some help finding a new home. Alright, what we'll do here... They said to head to the top of the mountain. Now, with this bamboo thicket ahead, it has to be somewhat close to here. It is still sloping up, so clearly we still have more mountain to go. And the evening sun setting is a blessing and a curse. Anyone else on the roadway will be able to, will hopefully not be able to take and surprise us, as long as we can catch a glimpse of them first. But with bears randomly wandering around here, I'm guessing there aren't so many wanderers. Now, the challenging part. There is a roadway, but I don't think the roadway is trustworthy. The best path is the one that keeps you safe, and that is a lesson that Akko would have taught Kuroi-Ran on the road. And in their travels, leading the Mino province and heading to the coast would have been quite a challenging journey indeed. Staying in the mountains, these sites would be familiar to her, as traveling through the mountains was common for them, just getting out of the Mino province and heading towards the northern areas to coast. And of course, father being born and raised and a prominent figurehead in the Mino province is oh so important to him. And we had heard no end of how valuable and how strategically important the Mino province is. Oh, nice. Cool. Ooh, pufferfish. This is a new one. I haven't actually used this one yet. Oh, it's for luxury. Interesting. Nice. Alright, well, we have a lot of goods. I would like to buy these, but we can wait a little bit on that. Warrior monks. Yep, okay. We need to keep our focus. It is starting to become later in the evening, and I'm sure the abbot would like not to be bothered into the evening. We don't want to be rude. Speak to the abbot, and I'm sure he will be very impressed and perhaps concerned. Greetings. Let's branch the temple of Honganji near the abbot. It'll tell you that it rebuilt the burnt village. And I'm sure at some point there will be... Well, actually, maybe he won't judge, right? Say, you've done a good thing rebuilding. May others find peace in Amida's grace. And other people were harmed by the war, and they could settle in the Nata Valley. The promise I told them when I left is a promise, and our village may not turn out to be enough. So I asked permission to have another settlement. Well, you chose to ask me before acting. You wanted to be guided by Amida's grace first. This is the proper way. Word has reached us that you have worked for the benefit of the valley. Guided by you, the villagers are helping. You're helping the villagers in this difficult time. Your first village prospers as prosperity affects the temple. You've done well. Entrust you with second bell. May Amida's grace follow through your actions. I humbly thank you. Would you allow me to build 2 villages then? Finish one journey before starting one. Perfect. I am grateful. Perfect. Now we have the ability to expand that first village. We need to get a home. We need to make a home for our 2 new villagers. And now that we also have canola, we're going to want to take care of that as well. Alrighty. Prior to number 1, time to start thinking about where these homes go. Like, where can we place a lot of houses? I want it to look nice, and I want to be sure that it makes some sense. I mean, people are going to want to live near where they work. I want to have this main walkway turn into spiritual and trade. We don't want to spend too many of our builds there. This is obviously a workshop, so we're in the industrial area already. That being the case, I think we might have to double check over here. I would like to get this out of here. I think it'd be nice to have a home right up here. Tell you what. Let's see what we can do up here. There we are. Let's build here. You know, that whole idea about having those extra logs, I really think that that is a big deal right now. Coniferous logs, coniferous planks, we need so many of them right now. So this was definitely the right move, was to switch from paper logs to conifer. We need them. At least just for now. Here, this will be it. This ought to take care of all of our needs for planks for quite some time. Let's get these people a home and then let's get to sleep. I don't want to leave them without a roof over their heads. We've traveled for long enough without a roof over our heads and found luck in finding nooks in rocky areas, caves when it was the best, and old shelters that it was clear someone else had used before. It has always been so odd that Auntie would know so many of these hidden locations, and she would have that sparkle in her eye when asked, well, how could you possibly know that this would have come up? And of course, Kuroi-Ran is not a fool, and obviously Auntie knew it was there because there's more to the story, and learning more about where she came from and how she came into being who she is helped make a lot more sense out of that idea. And the fact that this is something that is shared, and that if anyone else was there, as long as they were wearing the right insignia, we would know that they were trustable and that they were one of us. Now, have they come upon some of these travelers' resting spaces, as we may say, and there were people there who were not to be trusted? Absolutely. Oops, that was not right. We don't want to put that there. But more often than not, they were unoccupied. And Auntie's knowledge of Omi province, Mino province, and into the north were very curious, I guess we could say. And it definitely led Kuroi-Ran to wonder exactly what was her goal in those areas. Obviously, Auntie was trained in information exchanging. And why that happened and how that happened in the first place is a strange and long story. At least that's what she was told. Okay. I'm gonna say that we need to have... And this is, of course, all... Yeah, our character does this, but obviously the seasons are long, right? And it's not a 3-day season in reality. This work is the work of our villagers who are helping us out, visioned through our character. There we are. And for now, we may not have the fanciest of things to sleep on, but in due time this village will be prosperous, and we will sleep on more comfortable beds. There. Now, these two deserve a home. There we are. Alright, then we need some work for them, but we're going to do a little bit of that whole, let's make sure it's real here. Let's actually, oh my, we need a better home. And with that, a better home indeed. Let's see, what can we do? Now, where are we at for beverages? We are set, heating-wise and meals-wise. We are good. And a traveler. Greetings. Deserted. Oh, you deserted. You were a warrior. That is good news. Come live with us. Okay, I'm going to place you... He's used to sleeping in places that are perhaps... There we are. More suited for those who are soldiers who are used to sleeping in any place that they could get away with. Now, I would like to have some of our fields over here. It's okay to have the stench of the tailor's shop in this area. Now, we do need to clear out some of the light here so we can have sun in this region. We need to clear out some of the trees. That's the word I'm looking for. Let's see what we can get away with. There we are. 25 is all the larger we actually need to go. In due time, we'll have to clear out a number of these trees, because we can't have things being blocked here. We want growth, we want our east-west facing to be allowing these things to grow. So let's take a few of these out. It looks to me like if this is the south, we have a bit of exposed there. Yep, we're gonna take this one down. Shoot. We'll have to come back to that. Will be a bit of a problem for us over time. Obviously, we don't have to worry about it right now in the game, because there isn't actually any difference in growth here. So we don't actually have to worry about this. So for those who are watching who are going like, oh, do you really need to care about where the sun is? Absolutely not. It's just me playing. Just me making it that way for me. Now, do we have a canola bag? I think so. Yeah, let's get you into the field, since you told me you were a farmer. Both of you, actually, right? There we are. Oh, because it was my inventory. That's why I can't get to it. Now, I would love it if these two, since they're partners, they work together, they've traveled together, they've always worked together and done together things, so they'll farm together. And they will absolutely help us to thrive here. Let's make another bag for this. We'll need lots of oil. That's going to be our goal. So, it'll be helpful for us to make sure that they can begin here. There we are. I think I assigned the wrong person. Yes, you're the one I actually wanted to assign here. There we are. This is our gentleman who's a guard. So I'm going to kind of go with their backstories. I thought about doing that in the previous playthrough, or it was thinking about doing it in my next playthrough. That's where we're at, though, is the thing. Now the question is, where's the best place for this? Well, we have a tower over here from our... Hunter's Lodge. But we're ultimately going to want more view of the area from here. At some point we'll probably have walls, so we should probably face this walkway such that it makes sense. And there we have it. Okay, now, we don't actually need to have protection yet, but I want to fit this with the storyline. So, we're going to waste a job. It's okay. Here we are. Now we have a protector. Okay, we still haven't taken care of a major thing, right? We have these side quests we're supposed to be working on. Ooh, perfect. We have these side quests we're supposed to be working on, and we need to get ourselves set in our area, right? I also think that in this early part of the game, we find that the amount of woodworking huts that you need is high. Out of sticks already. Okay, that is quite the thing. Let's see what we can do about getting more sticks. Now that might be a bit of a problem too for us building the structure, obviously. But I believe we can change the style. Oops, let's see here. There we go. Oh, no, we don't have any planks. We will soon. I suppose we can say that the deserter has probably he's probably had to help set up a camp, right? He's probably had to do work in camps before. So there's no reason to assume he can't figure out. Oh, shoot. Do I have to change each of them? Interesting. That's strange that we have to... I must have already delivered all the stuff, and we're just looking for sticks that finish the job. Alright, well... Oh, you know, we were just in Aratani, weren't we? And I was just at the inn. I'm sure Auntie gave us a cross glance when we came back empty-handed. But we were able to, I'm sure, for Kuroi-Ran, it's easy to throw a line back at her from what she's heard in her teachings, from when we have listened in on the teachings of the temple, that alcohol is a problem, and obviously she needs to temper her demand for it by knowing that it's not good for her. And she would not appreciate being lectured by a child, as she would say, but there would be a grin on her face, knowing that Kuroi-Ran is standing up to her and showing that spark of inspiration and a lack of just listening and doing what they're told. Which was never something that Father appreciated, unfortunately. But Father was a weak man, and fortunately enough for her, he was not the kind of person who would raise a fist, and it would have worked very poorly, and it would have worked out poorly for him. Even worse over time. The length of time that Auntie was present, and the amount of subtle, strange things that would happen when Kuroi-Ran would get in trouble, and Father would think that he was going to be Mr. Disciplinarian. He learned very quickly that he would simply not. Now, let's finish these stations up, and obviously, anytime you build this structure, please make sure you put up 2 of these workstations. Okay, just because it seems like a silly thing to do, we know that he can handle being this. I have to remember that it's Koshichi, so we have to know that he is going to be our guy. We'll say that he'll help us with our getting of logs, since he's built camps before. He's had to, right? He's traveled long enough. He's worked long enough in different camps and been a part of a traveling army, or at least been responsible for helping that army as long as he was present with it. So he knows how to gather resources. I do get a kick out of these personal quests that we have going on. Oh wait, I could just eat them out of here too. Let us definitely feed our character. And at some point here, we'll be able to get a lot more. Now, I don't think I want to keep these broken bows around. At some point, we can fix them. For now, we'll just leave it be. Alright, now, I do get a kick out of this simple katana. And one of the lessons that Auntie would have learned quickly in her travels is that for her art, she was never trained to be very powerful with a weapon, other than the subtle ones that would take care of those who are not ready, the ill-prepared, which she could easily train Kuroi-Ran on. But that wasn't going to be good enough for her. Now, let's set ourselves up here. We need to move Akko. We're going to change the home that we live in to this one. And now I need to give us a spot too. There we are. Now, this subtle little home. It's tempting to keep it, but it's not serving anything. And one does not hold on to old memories that do nothing more than serve as a placeholder. This spot is a wonderful little place. Easily turn into a new home for someone. But it looks like we're going to have to wait a little. And now that we can build our other bell, we're going to be at a point where, yes, we're going to need more sticks so we can continue onwards. Now, let's see here. We've done a good job with this and this. It might be good to start getting somebody cooking meals at some point too. Beverages we're obviously fine on. Heating, not bad. It would be fairly important for us to build some structures that matter. Oh, and there we have it. Now we're making progress. We will definitely want to build a kitchen. The village is getting big enough that we want to make sure that we can feed our people, and we want to make sure it's close to where people live. I think this would be the right place. Although having the tanning vat nearby, not ideal. Let's see. Is there a space down in this area that we can use? The hill makes it a little more treacherous to walk. It might be nice to have it just nestled back in here. It stays away from the main area. It also allows us to have a quieter region where we can cook things and draw less attention to our area, since smells travel well. If we can block it a bit with this area, maybe that will help. It's either that or we go up by where the tanning area is and over on the hill, which is a little closer to where people are. But fresh fish. Might be nice to have all of our stuff here, near where we're catching our prize. Let's see what it looks like here. Of course, we'll wait on that one. We still need to get some more. We still need to get some more logs. So we'll let our workers finish that one up. Alright, then the next thing to consider is how we want to expand. Since we live here, it's going to be really important for us to think from this region out, which is convenient since everything, everything connects to us. So it will be important for us to consider where we go next. The Injiro rebels have mentioned that they need help with just construction. They're willing to help us out since we've done such work for Sasogi, and they've gotten rid of some of the competition, we'll say, in the area that doesn't have quite the heart that they have. We have heard of there being a camp in the north that needs to be taken down, and that travel to the mountain area will bring back a lot of memories. Maybe it's time to travel there and to see what there is here. Okay, well, let's get ourselves ready to take on the mountain bandits. And let's double check and make sure we did all the things right here. Yeah, we did. Just want to be sure we have all of our basics covered. This morning, we should be good. Alright, let's go. Now the next step is to just make sure we have arrows. Our bell. Oh, we have upper arrows on. We'll use the stone ones for now. We're going to start off with... There we are. We'll start off with the stone arrows and then go from there. And our bow is about to break. I wonder if we're going to need more arrows. I seem to remember player speak here that you go through a lot of arrows in the mountain area. Let's go for this. Now, freeing this area from the bandits will be a big deal, because we need to help the people have more of a foothold in the area. The mountain bandits are threatening to come back down into our area. Ooh, you know what? You know what? Just noticed that land field that we're growing. Oh, they're both supposed to be canola. Interesting. Ah, here we are. I don't think we really want to bother with that. Let's go all canola all day. We're going to go heavy on making oils. We want to be able to produce. We want to be able to produce a very useful series of resources. Things that will not only help us out, but will also sell well. And will take advantage of what we know of the seasons. Which, as we're aware, right now is the time to be growing canola. We do not want to waste that time. Our farmers are wise and savvy to what should be done. Oh, you telling me that, boom, there we go. Perfect. Be interested to see how much of these I can make. We'll make a few linens just so that we have some things started. And we'll see what kind of selling price this will net us. And then we need to go. Well, of course, it's nothing. Okay, well, then it's an intermediary step, right? Is there anything that would be good for us to wear that would throw off people for us traveling into that area? Or give us some edge on armor. Of course, we're not going to be able to make anything good there. And with all the traveling we're doing here, I don't think we want to be traveling with this kind of footwear. These are what we're currently wearing. Great for use outdoors. This will help us. There we go. Let's protect our feet a bit. We'll be traveling in an alpine area. It'll be a little cooler. In the evening time, we'll want to make sure that we're actually insulated. Headwear wise, it'd be nice for. Oh wow, that's expensive. Oh, did not notice that. We already have the straw hat. This would be great for hiding our identity. But at this point, nobody really knows us, so that should be alright. The looters are nothing compared to the rest of the organization that's going on in the area. So we, at this point, have nothing to fear of them knowing our face or knowing who we are. They're more organized than we realize, but they're not coordinating and aware of what's going on yet. We haven't really caused enough of a stir to be a problem yet. And as Kuroi would be traveling up here, memories of where they have been recently, within the last year, having left to come to this area, to the Nata Valley, having left the Kaga Principality from their long duration, staying there, enjoying the area, the beautiful city, and the wonderful foods that they've learned and experienced in that area. Having to sadly leave that area due to impending conflict and knowing the writing on the wall. Leaving, of course, and of course fearing the fact that Oda Nobunaga's forces were to take the Kaga province. It was his desire, it was his goal. Knowing now, a year later, of course, that he would be repelled by Uesigi Kenshin would be great news for them, and unfortunate in the sense that they would have already left behind that area with the choice to move on to this region and find a new beginning here. Thinking that the area would be defeated, Nobunaga has been having victory after victory and seems to have it out for anyone who is allied with the Yokuiki. or anyone who would support just the people having their livelihoods for themselves. So us, Akko and Kuroi fleeing this area would have been an important step before arriving here. And traveling here brings back memories of leaving Mino so many years ago. Having traveled out of Mino, traveled out of the Mino province, and then traveling into Omi, where Akko spent the majority of her youth and young adulthood in training, brings back memories of the treacherous climbs at times, the challenging foothold areas to go through, and the constant concern over random bands of military soldiers who are either disorganized and at times deserters who are simply fleeing and hoping for a better life, or planning to take a better life out of what they find. Would have made for challenging travels. The number of times they would have to stage themselves in an area, watch people travel, and even have to defend themselves. Gave Kuroi-Ran the experience with the bow that's paid off now, and a number of resources as they went. It is amazing how many things these deserters would be holding and looting as they went that would ultimately allow them the funds to travel, and even allow them enough to settle down for a brief amount of time in Ichizen, and then follow that up by settling in the Kaga settlement, or province, shortly thereafter. It wasn't much of a life. I mean, they did try to appear to be people from the area, and they had done a rather successful job at it. But ultimately their fate was never to stay, and it seems to have been the fate of most of her life, is to have to travel, to have to be in new locations, to restart her life, and to constantly have to reinvent who she is, but know who she is at her core. Now, this would be a perfect area to get ourselves settled in, travel through this region and the mountainsides. A lot less treacherous than the initial pathway out of Mino into Omi, where they had to pass by and avoid a significant military force that was marching back to Kyoto in celebration of their recent victory in her province of Mino, when she was oh so young, so many years ago. And I suppose we could pick some things as we go. I want to make sure that we get a number of feathers. We'll end up needing more arrows in due time. And I do think that by the time we're done raiding this place, that we will be drained of arrows rather quickly. Always show up prepared. Now, a good thing to do against mountain bandits, or people who are used to having the high ground as an advantage, is to be sure that they are aware of any faults in their strategies. They expect a river as an attack. They do not expect a mountain. They expect the attackers to come from below, having marched up the roadways, having to deal with having to have a simple pathway up, having to pass by some key areas. They are not necessarily expecting to deal with somebody who is utilizing terrain to their advantage. There we are. Now, this is a significant force, unfortunately. Now, what can we do about them? We don't want to give them too much ground. Oh, that's unfortunate for you. Now, this will be useful. The advantage here is the disarray and the chaos. And I will say that Akko is on the other side of here. She will have started a small fire. and some of the buildings in the area, leading this region, this fight here, to be chaos for these bandits, and allowing us the advantage against them and the confusion. That obviously we're watching the AI be confused, but confusion would actually be in the disarray of having to make a choice. Which way do I go? Like which chaos, which event am I going to deal with? Am I going to deal with this archer who's peppering our area with arrows? Or do I head back in and be sure that I'm helping put out the fire? And who started this fire? Indeed. So, we've placed them in a rather compromised position. And this comes from the wisdom that she has read, reading from Sun Tzu and other great generals over time. These strategies pay off. We are vastly outnumbered by a superior fighting force. We're showing up with bows, and we're showing up with just any old equipment that we've been able to loot off of the people we have taken down over time. Looters in the first place, bandits, and one Ashigaru. So I have a katana, and even that, Kuroi-Ran has trained with a katana, but is not experienced in years of combat with a katana, so there's no way that she has the same skill as any of these individuals. Now, that would be unfortunate for you, of course, launching arrows towards me with no ability to land them in. Now, we will... Ooh, you there. A thug? Perfect. We'll see what we can do about you. It's important to make sure they have the disadvantage. So for them, not only are they having to come and find me here, on the side of the mountain where they're not expecting anybody to be attacking from, but on top of that, they're also having to deal with the fact that they have to walk up. They have to walk up this pathway, and in the process of walking up this area, they will most assuredly become tired having to go up this mountain area and walk up these little pathways. For us, we just need to send the arrows at them and allow their fatigue to take the best of them. Of course, taking this area will require a great deal of patience, since it is a lot of soldiers here. Well, why I say soldiers, but we don't want to get walloped. That would certainly slow us down. Oh, that's a wallop. Luckily only oh wait, I gotta remember my dodges. Luckily only a small, gentle battering. Oh, I have way too much. Now, I'm guessing we have a long ways to go, unfortunately. Taking this area is going to be a bit. And it will take us into the evening, so fortunately for us, we've already put our people in a spot where they know what they're producing. Oh, you know what I should be doing? I'm going to... put Akko into a job that... There we go. We're just going to put her into a job that has nothing, right? So I'm saying that Akko is here with us, helping with this raid. So we're not going to have Akko producing anything for the day because, right, it's fair. It's fair to say that right now Akko is busy. We need to find these. There we are. We don't want to let them have the advantage on us. And again, let's let them walk up the mountainside. Let's let them wear their legs out as they travel. That's a rough one. Oh boy. see what we can do. We may not be well experienced with the katana, but if this individual thinks that a bow is the right thing to draw right now, oops, and they end up getting a small hit on us. This gives us a chance to practice with this weapon. Now we gotta start making strategic choices about the junk we're carrying, unfortunately. I think we can do some things here, right? Place these into our inventory. Take a quick breather. Eat a snack, right? There we are. And again, that idea about taking advantage of the situation. If he's going to use a bow, I'll use a sword. Since he'll be ready for a drawing, and if I can keep myself in the right motion, there's no way he'll be quick enough to take me down. And as we've seen, these mountain bandits don't seem to be well trained with the bow. They're okay. They seem to be more or less okay with the weaponry. This would be a good place for us to get practice and hone our skill with any of the weapons that will ultimately allow us to be successful in our liberation of this area. And just keep us safe, and our people safe. We know that soldiers will be in the area at some point. Well, I guess the hope is that they won't, but with the rate at which Nobunaga's forces advance, chances of them being here are rather high. Maybe we can just sneak in here and take some of these people down before it gets too far into the day. Now will be our chance to... Yeah. And let's see. There we are. And there we have it. A fitting end. See, now when you think about it, when I'm doing all these fights here and you're seeing this, think about having the hunter background right now. And think about how much extra damage we're doing. What is it, like 15% extra damage? That's 15% on each of those headshots is significant. I mean, right? So that is why I say, when I was talking about that whole idea about that, the hunter background being the absolute best for your kind of early playthrough, yeah, for sure. I think that that's definitely the go-to, that if you want a nice easy start and want the combat to go simpler for you, you really take the hunter background. It's going to be so much better for you over the long run. Unless you plan on doing all melee, which you absolutely could do. It is starting to be evening, which will be the time that we want to take down the bandit leader. We want to be able to put this place into disarray. We've already caused a great deal of chaos here, but we haven't quite taken this area. And ultimately, ow! Pretty fortunate that we're not getting major hits on us. They seem to be fairly unskilled and disorganized, which is great for us. It does help that we have the disarray going on, so for this, there's a whole lot of... We can't see, obviously, buildings on fire further down. And again, every time we get a chance, this is Akko's advice of when you know you have a chance that you can learn more, you need to take the time. You need to practice with the sword. Take the weapon of the conquerors and turn it to them. It's not something that Akko is skilled with, and that will ultimately be a thing that she'll regret, is not having more skill. Some of the weapons of war that she knows that you would love Orchid to have been trained on. Well, if you're gonna stand there, it's gonna be unfortunate for you. Sorry for the fast pan, I just want to make sure we're not being followed. Now. Ooh, that's a huge one right there. Now, what can we get rid of? Well, obviously this, right? Perfect. Now the cooling drink, I don't think we need this. What we need is something for healing. And we're about to be out of a bow again. Sake, no Doburuku. That would be super handy. Too bad that I can't just have Auntie take that. Oh, darn. Smoke bomb? We can say there's a smoke bomb. Oh, this is the leader's horde? Oh, you have to be kidding me. Interesting. Okay, well, alright. This may allow us to throw them off a bit. Since they'll be expecting just bandits. And chasing down a monk would be totally wrong. So this can throw them off a good deal. These ones we can also say that, well, no, maybe not. Doesn't really make sense. We've been invading this area and fighting people. There's no way that we're gonna subtly, like, sneak in and start poisoning or whatnot with these people. Okay, let's get this going. My goodness, so many things. Now, there will be someone in here who's in charge. We, so far, done a good job of sowing chaos and taking down their forces. The unfortunate thing is how many of them there are just so darn many of them. Oh, you're just gonna stand there. I mean, it is wrong to attack a monk. You know that. Now let's get ourselves back up here. With the cover of night, we'll take down the leader. Die. Okay, if you're gonna stand there, we will do that. Perfect. Now, to take down the leader, the first step will be a poison arrow that Auntie will have granted us. Maybe probably more than one, because there's always a chance you miss. And with this, that'll allow us to slow and confuse them. Now, for us, this is also going to require a bit of running. And actually, that's auspicious. We will drink that tea. Alright, in the cover of night, with his Bandit Holmes burning in the background, we'll face him down. Oh no, we will probably get face down. Oh, and I went into the wrong area. He's not doing that much damage to us, is he? I'm kind of curious if we could just take him out with the sword. Oh no, he's stuck. Oh, you poor guy. I think, whether foolish or not, we're going to take this guy out. This is our chance. He seems to be rather disorganized and using a rather poor weapon. what we can do. Tetsubo does hurt. Or, I'm sorry, they don't call this one a Tetsubo. And there we have it. The foe is defeated. And in our time, in this fight, we'll have learned a little more about how to use the katana properly. Kanobo. I keep calling it Tetsube. Or Tetsubo, sorry. I thought that was the name of that giant club. I'll have to look back and see what it is. Or actually, I know that I have a group of people watching this who could easily, or who will know better. So by all means, what is the name of that giant club? I thought there was a name as a Tetsubo, but I could be totally wrong. There we are. So, with this, we have taken down the mountain area. We have, I believe, fully liberated this area, right? Yes, all we have to do is finish the mountain watchtower. Perfect. It's time for us to get out of here. And bring ourselves back to home. Now we did not get any ore. All we got was copper. It's not going to do much for us. It will help out our person though. Somebody did ask us to bring back copper. And we'll allow Auntie to take out these two, we'll say. But that's not going to stop me from looting. And then let's get out of here. No more good loots here. Time for us to depart. And under the cover of night, we'll be able to flee rather easily, with their leader taken down, and having finished them off with a sword and a katana, and dressed as a warrior monk, is going to most likely have the stories being told of a man who showed up here, who fought with a katana, as if he was not a samurai, but trained in some sense with a sword. So that could easily throw people off our trail, at least for a little while longer. Since they'll be expecting a male, and they'll be expecting maybe a small force. Since starting that fire would have taken a lot of effort, Akko obviously has experience in sowing chaos and doing work with sabotage from her training, and that allows us to do these little things as we go. Oh, you don't sell Delveroku. I think I might be in trouble. It's a fine weapon, but I don't think I need it now. What can I sell to you? We'll do that. Way of the monk levels, indeed. We're going to save all the rest of these resources because it's so much easier and better to just have them in our inventories that they can be used for spiritual needs and luxury needs later on. There we are. I always like having my general storage right by the bell for this reason. Now I can just drop everything in here. At least the things we need to. Oh, I probably should keep my regular clothes on me. Medications will go here. Actually, I think I was supposed to put those in the beverage storage. Yeah, that's my fault. We'll try to get the storage right. That's the goal. Ooh, wait, I need this. There we are. Turns out we ended up with a lot more of the items than I thought, or a lot more bows left over than I thought. I figured we would have left that place with no bows left over. It came out of that decently, I suppose. And it's nice seeing the lanterns here. It's going to be good to make this place look pretty and make this city look like a city over time. There we are. And obviously we have beverage storages in the workshop and all of the other storages as well. There we go. Now where's our friend who wanted copper? Because it would be nice to wrap that up. You settle in nicely. Who am I doing this quest for? Let's find out. Kurojis. Oh, 7 to 18. Oh dear. Okay. I will need to get more. Let's see here. It is getting late in the evening. Let's finish up that building. We are almost done. And after our travels... yes, planks. After our travels, we'll say that people in the village finished this one up. There's no reason for us to assume that all this work is actually done by our person. Oh my, look at that. See, now that's the reason for having our workers just harvesting carnivorous logs. We now have over 100 logs, which is going to allow us to start really mass producing planks and therefore really expand this village quick and then therefore expand the next village. Now, something that is being looked forward to by Kuroi-Ran and Akko is going to be making a paper manufactory. That is something they would have experienced in their time in Ichizen before the armies came through. And it was a skill that was well worth picking up and is great for our economy. It'll be great for us to help make a thriving region here. We can produce paper, which is a good that lots of individuals will need here. And since we learned and had to work under that workshop for a number of years, it will pay off for us since it is something that both Akko and Kuroi-Ran showed skill at. It will be easily something that they can have expertise of and make a unique item in this area. That quality paper will be well worthwhile. And now we're out of stone. Now it is time for us to start thinking about how many things we make, right? Like now it's time for us to make that mining station. Time for us to think about making a pickaxe so that we can start harvesting tin. We can start making bronze, since we're at a point where we can do so. And that'll help us jump to the next technology level and continually advance. At some point we'll have to replace this simple katana that we have, and it would be nice to have a better katana in due time. That may be a while, but we can at least get some better technology to get us closer. A bronze sword is not worth the time, but it's a stepping stone. Alright, there we are. And there we have it. We're most of the way through summer. What do we have? This is the final day of summer for us. I'll say that we're going to do 3 days per season so we can advance the storyline, as I have plans for how this ties into the history, and I have plans for how we can tie this into the fate of the rest of the Warring States period through this. Alright, in this night and before tomorrow, since we have only our 1 day left, and we know that we need to finish our watchtower before the end of the season, let's see what we can do to wrap things up. We gotta get that Doboruku, and we also need to get the more copper. And we also obviously have to finish this beast. So let's finish this construction tonight into tomorrow. It'll be handy to have this done. And with all the excitement and the adventure of the day, this could have easily been built by the villagers, Toshichi, and his friends from Sasogi, and everyone that we've helped out there will be glad to help out with a lot of our construction. And we kind of envision that as the way things are going, right? Where the building is getting done by a collection of people, not just us personally. Although we get to represent it. We get to be that avatar of showing where it's built. And of course we need more sticks. It's going to be a thing for a while. Now, this is a nice little area. I wonder if there should definitely be some more we can do with this space. What I'll do so some good for us as well is that this area is where we can build our oil press. I think we'll also need to gain some more clay to make that possible. There, nice. And sticks again. Oh. We'll take a free meal. Oh, wow. We have an enemy camp just outside of our village. That's a real problem. That's not something we can just leave go. That'll be tricky. And they probably will have taken advantage of the evening and our lack of being present to station themselves here. This will have to be dealt with. Probably tonight. We don't want to leave them here for the evening, cause havoc. We'll have to be a little strategic about this one too, because this is going to be tricky. I think I saw 2 at least. I believe I see 3. 3 of them, and if they're deserters, their armor is going to be fairly decent. And if they're thugs, oh, they can't be thugs here, I don't think. So we are definitely going to be stuck with deserters, I believe. And their armor is okay. Their weapons will actually be pretty good. Oh yeah, 3 of them. That's not fortunate. And they are thugs, my goodness. That's unfortunate for me because they're faster. Ooh, bad shot. We better find ourselves a nice, convenient location where there aren't as many trees to block our view. Now, night is good for us, not as good for them. Ooh. A deer will be a good distraction? No, not really. A deer will be a completely pointless distraction. There we go. Oh, bronze sword. See, we were just talking about having bronze swords and how they're not really going to be that worthwhile. But at least now we have them, so we can decide what we think of it. Oh, and there's Great Jizo. Now, we don't need him doing his dash attack, because that'll definitely do some damage to us. We have a lot of running going on. There we go. The challenge of, I can only imagine, just trying to run and turn and fire a bow. That's not a simple thing. And in their travels, the number of times where they've had to get themselves out of sticky situations, definitely going to be a few, and how they get out of them, most of the time it's going to need to be words or subterfuge, anything that takes the less on the combat, just because the chances of things going wrong are so much higher when you are trying to fight, and especially if you have more than one person. Alright, well now we've been able to take care of this. Certainly didn't want them to stick around here, so that's good that we got rid of them. Okay, now it's time to go back, and it's time to finish our building and get some rest before the morning. This is an awful lot that we've done. She would be truly exhausted at this point. But we cannot allow something like this to be in our village. I can't believe it happened earlier. There we go. Now we're talking about the concern. Now we're talking about what we really need here. We need bronze. And we need more stone. That'll be tomorrow's problem. And we need to get that pickaxe made. We end up with a new person. That's very fortunate. Stories about the war. Yeah. I'm glad you escaped, and I'm glad you lived to tell the tale. Carpenter station has no tools, then we are out of axes. Right, let's get you into a home. I believe this is the home of the people who really just didn't have any space yet. Now, we aren't quite done with our area here. Why don't we have her... Could have her start in... Well, Akko's going to come back to the Forger workstation, so I should probably take care of that. Let's do that now. Now we need her to start gathering other things. Time for her to start gathering... Time for her to start actually gathering some of the medicines we're going to need. You... Well, I tell you what. We're not there quite yet, but we will be. Now I just have to remember which bed I... Or... Number 16. Having the lamps will be nice. We need to get that pickaxe. That'll be the next step. Tracking these things down is tricky. My goodness. Alright then, more sticks of course, and we're gonna let ourselves get away with a little low on sleep. Just for the sake of getting things done this season. Now, I think our next move here is to go back to Sasogi and to take care of getting the copper for one of our individuals, and then having copper for us in the first place, since that's definitely something we need to do, and definitely somewhere we want to be. Look at all these things. Nice to have all these items for later, that's for sure. Oh, you know, of these items. Yeah, look at all these random things we have sitting here. That symbol katana is so close to done. I think we'll keep the Bronziari here. How much more damage does this do? So much better. It's not gonna last. And then we don't have any stone, that's right. Nice food. We'll try to put things away the right way. I'm trying to be better organized about this stuff. Usually I just go and toss it wherever I can get away with. There we go. Now, we are not going to be able to get away with having... We're not going to be able to get away with being bowless. That's for sure. Or arrows, that's pretty good. Alright, let's go. First, we'll get the rocks from here, then we'll head out. And I believe we'll put the mining station over here, because there's a lot of resources in this area, and we definitely have rock not too far away, so we'll call this our area that we use for quarrying. Oh, this will be where we get stone from. It won't be quite the... I mean, it'll be decent quality. It's something... It's good enough for us for now. we'll end up getting better stone or better resources in time where we move and get our larger city set up with our next expansion in the village. And at some point, ideally, we'll also have access to better resources. Iron. And maybe our own deposits of clay. There we are. Okay, now we can check our jobs to be sure that everything's good. Ah, that's right. We'll get you there. I'll be back before we need you to do a job. For sure. We do have to remember to set up our watchtower, or not our watchtower, but the watchtower in the mountain area. The people are going to want something that will help them be safe and check the region. He's happy about the rebuilt bridge. And thank you. One more thing. You need me to go check and talk with somebody? Strange Yukai, a female demon. We will gladly talk to this demon for you. And chances are this would be, you know, as spiritual as she is, she's not going to believe that there's a real demon. And chances are it's somebody who is wanting to make sure that people think she's a demon. It would make sense. And it's not unlike strategies they may have employed when they were traveling to capture the minds of the simpler people. There's one less fight if you can make somebody scared enough not to want to fight. You don't have to be stronger necessarily. Now, let's get our copper. We still have her garden here. That's nice. I'm glad that we still have her garden. I swear that we took down these trees, but I could be wrong. I don't want to leave these memories behind. We want to make sure that we repair this place, or at least leave it fair and fertile. Let it return to what it was. I swear I took down these trees already. That being the case, let's not spend too much time on this, just in case they are continually coming back from season to season. That has happened to me before. Take out a few of them, and we'll watch and see if it comes back. There we are. And you know what I do all the time, as I mentioned before, is that I never spend my darn points. Let's spend our darn points. Worker productivity train, I just think is a no-brainer. We need to have that. There we go. Trade structures. 100%. A craftsman, I think, since we're doing a lot of this work on mining, that'll be good. Tools last longer. I think this one works better. Skillful farmer could be good. I'm not necessarily going to say that we have... I don't know, I don't think that she would be necessarily trained in that over time. There wouldn't have been time for them to settle down for farming, so it's not a skill that I would assume she'd have. Sprint attacker. Oh, is that a thing? Yeah, this is good. I mean, that's their hunting skill starter. Here, that's going to be good for power attacks, and let's see here. Stamina cost for bows is not a bad thing. Improved parry, I think we need to work on that. We've been practicing with the sword more often, which is good, and that's going to help us be... It's going to help us be more capable in our fights. Ooh, what else could we do? Ooh, I do want the perfect parry ability. Oh, look at us go. I haven't done stuff here yet. That's silly. Doing that. Nice. More energy. Oh my goodness. You know, with all the running we're doing, honestly, I think that this is a good one. Getting way of the warrior experience increase is not bad, and having a bonus of even if it's 10%, that's a good thing. Because that gets me a lot more points as we go later. And it advances us quicker. So maybe that is worth it. How far are we along the tree? I mean, we're doing pretty well. Wouldn't mind having more of warrior. Let's go for that, and then having more health I'm definitely going to get to. Gain more when foraging. I haven't seen this, and I want to see it more so than just and fit it to the storyline. Ah, still one stick. Okay, what it is. It would be decent if we were going to do a lot of mining over time, that we save up and we eventually purchase the maximum skill for this, where you get bonus resources when you're harvesting. That could be good. If we do it right, I could be striking both these at the same time. As far as building things is concerned, I'm going to let us just do all the construction and just kind of, we're just acting as the avatar of the village at large. That we don't have to say that we are personally building these things. We can say that there are villagers who have the skills, where if Kuroi-Ran is going to ask for, well, I need a copper pickaxe, or I need us to gather copper, that would be a task that people would help with. And we would work together as a village, bringing all of our skills. And at this point, her shrewd trading, her cleverness in battle, and her ability to keep the villagers safe is a huge commodity to trade with them. And of course, having the merchant background means that we're going to move on to having our trade stations very quickly. Now hold up, now we're getting 3 or 4 sticks. Okay, so maybe that update happened just now, and that it didn't go before? Interesting. What's this gonna guess? Oh my goodness. That is a lot more. Okay. I'll take it. We're gonna spend time foraging things, so why not? I think that skill is definitely worth it. Okay. Now let's go back. Kohan. And then I believe we need to make ourselves a copper pickaxe, and we need to wrap up a quest. Huzzah. And what's very convenient is now that I'm right here, and just go ahead and harvest tin. Now we can actually build the smelter, we can put some bronze into it, and we can wrap that up before the end of the day, I hope. And we'll try to strike right between the two of these, because then we can just continually work in this one area and get all of it. There we go. Now, much like the experience you get in playing Shogun 2, the whole drawing attention to yourself thing, we kind of envision happening in the background here is, the more we do, the more liberating we take care of in this area, the riskier things are going to get over time, where we're drawing attention, right? Things are starting to become clear that we are here, and that we are, well, I don't know, that this expansive village is either ripe for the picking, or that there's something suspicious going on, that there is a, first off, having a woman leader of it is going to be suspect. So what I envisioned is that Kuroi-Ran and Akko would have agreed that Toshichi would be the figurehead, and that everything that happens would be gone through Toshichi, and that when people interact, as often as possible, they're speaking with Toshichi initially as if he's the one in charge, just so that they can remain low and not be suspicious. Otherwise, it's going to draw a lot of ire and potentially ruin their efforts. 11, 11, and 33. Okay, that's not too bad. Oh, good. And I do still have plenty more here. Peasant clothing. Nice. Okay, now we need to finish a person's job, but I also think we should hurry up and get this. We just need to figure out where that guy went. There we go. It's hard to figure out who exactly is the quest marker. That's what I'm noticing here for this. There seems to be a lot of quests in the village, and then figuring out who's who's. There you go. Alright. Thank you. And we got 82 coins and some craftsman skill. It's something. Not the hugest reward, obviously, but it's something. That's gonna be a while. Alright, well, we know what we need to do, right? We need to wrap up. Wait a minute. What? He must have taken it out the general supply? Okay. I guess that must have come out of the general supply. There we go. Oh, you know what? I probably should. We're not doing any raiding. Well, we're peasant clothing for now. We're just a person in this village, right? So we need to make sure it looks like it. Now, I obviously can't do fast travel right now, unfortunately. Well, I can't build a fast travel location, so we'll have to wait a bit on that. Now with the village structures, yes indeed. Advanced trading posts? Blacksmith trading, oh my god. Bamboo, rope, and planks. Okay, perfect. Right. You know what I can do? Where's our person? You can... We actually have a job for you. And it will be very important for us. We'll have you make rope. It's that simple. We need it. And I don't think the kitchen's going to be ready in time. That's going to be a common theme here. Eating is huge right now. Goodness. And meals. That's a problem. We better get back on that. We better start taking care of some jobs. We can easily make cooked rice. That's going to be vital for us. So we'll do this for a while. And plan some of this work out. We can also think about how we need to get our quest for Aratane done. How amazing would it be to start out with Aratane and go straight at that village and get some of the key unlocks there. That could be really big. But we are trying to progress as intended, so we should do the northern areas first. Oh yeah, and I do need to build that, let's check the kitchen real quick here. One of the things you need to build in here is the oil press. Here we are. It doesn't just show up. So when you go to furniture, you're going to go to production furniture. And then kitchen. And there we are, oil press. It costs you 75. No biggie. Finish the building first. 5 bronze. Oof. That's going to be a bit. I think we're definitely going to be a while on that one. Woofda. What can I do? Switch somebody out. Who can I say had experience with this? Comey? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't remember what her background was for us. Firewood. That's the problem. Okay, let's take care of that. And this is why we wanted to have firewood just available as a resource, because it does show up here and there as a, you need this. It looks like waiting for bronze for us is going to be far too cumbersome. We're going to have to, get some help with this. Alright, where's you? You Comey. Let's get you set here. Now we're on copper ore. Yeah, let's do that for now. Apologies. As I recall, we need more copper, obviously, just saw that, but also we need to get more bamboo due to our needs for our trading stations. see how much that does for meals. So crazy. Maintenance-wise, we're okay. Now, I'll check the bow. Oh, good. Wait, have I not? Yeah, I haven't fired it yet. Okay, good to go. My thought is that we can do some fast traveling towards that watchtower, but I need to bring a few things. I think we can gather the stone while we're there, but the logs and the planks, that's something we need to take with us. We'll get that tower done. Bring a bunch. And, stack of sticks. Probably 2 stacks of sticks. Nah, I shouldn't need that. Alright, then we'll get ourselves set. Let's go rebuild. Let's build a watchtower in the mountain area. Now we need to see if we've been to Iwasaki yet. We have not been to Iwasaki yet. That being the case, unfortunately, it's just as fast for us to travel there from Onsen. At least we've been at Onsen. And as I recall here, we won't find copper, but luckily we will find bamboo, and it will regrow rather fast. And we'll find another person? Hail, good friend. Battle spilled out and you escaped. You watched your houses burn. It is not right for you to be stuck on your own. Let's bring you into our village. There's plenty for us to ask. There's plenty of us that we need. There's plenty that we're asking for people to do. And there's plenty that we can supply you that you need. This will be okay. Having a person working back in the well again is a good call. There we are. Now, for bamboo. Wait. Yeah. It's too satisfying. It's just too fun. It will be the death of this katana, but that's okay. It's worth it. I'm sure Akko would chide, or would definitely be rather frustrated with us for wasting a good katana on cutting down bamboo trees. But there's no way I wasn't going to do that. It's way too fun. As a player, it's too fun. Alright, let's get up into the mountain areas and start building. And wrap this area up. That way, before the end of the season, we actually do have this area liberated. For us, it unlocks bronze tools, which is a big deal. And it will also allow our people to have much higher quality tools for our village, and perhaps lead us into the site of Iwasaki, which is going to be a big deal for us as well. And I will say, that whole idea, when I first started playing this game in early access, what I wanted to do was, and I think a lot of people as well, we wanted to be able to build a mansion like we saw in Iwasaki, and they gave us the ability to do so, which I absolutely love. But I still, in my mind, want to free Iwasaki. Like, that's just always going to stand out in my head as like a... What I really want is I want to be able to take down the headman and free the slaves from Iwasaki. Like, that's what I want now. That's a thing that I think would just be a blast. Be a very satisfying story. That mansion is really cool. And it could all be yours, and 3 people as well. Goodness me. There we go. Yes. Now, I didn't bring stone, but that's because I figured we'd have plenty here. Oh. Ah, there goes the bow. Do I have another one? Ah, another one. Ooh, this is an upper level, a higher level pig. There we go. The stars indicate that they are a stronger version, which is good. More hit points, more damage, more deadly, but currently also more dead. Alright, then, overlooking this area, we see the hints of an extensive mansion. Also, something further on that is hard to tell. Oh, I need straw. Oh, good, I happen to bring straw with. 8 more logs. Well, we're here. Actually, this should be fairly easy, since 4 logs per large tree, and here we are, 2 large trees. Let's get it. And we can catch the logs as they fall, which is super convenient. There we go. It'll take 3 workers. That's so very much doable. It's time to go home. Evening is beginning to fall. It has been a busy summer. We've done a good job of helping the people in the area. We have been able to take down the mountain bandits. They had a rogue, or at least a person dressing like a monk, in which we were able to do the same. Our monk disguise seems to have worked well, at least for now. And hopefully we'll start spreading rumors of a traveling monk who's liberating and taking from those who steal from others. That is not a sound that we want to hear. So, with this, we'll flee from the bear that we ran into on the hillside, having gotten a little too distracted. And in that, we'll end up in this area, seeing the walls of this beautiful mansion unguarded at this edge, which tells us there's a person who lives here who has very little fear. There isn't a single guard. Oh, now we found the first. No, a monk. Greetings to you. Then we'll at least be able to walk in, and obviously we should probably not have been dressed in peasant clothes. Wonder if you can help me. You think I'm your friend just because you ran errands around here? Wow. Rude. It'd be a tough one. This person seems to have quite the inflated attitude. Oh, there's no lootables. You know, before there were lootables in this one. I do love these walls. I want these walls. Which shrine do they worship? Well, at least they have good understandings, and at least they understand Jizo is an important figure. Alright, well, this village is huge. I don't see the headman. Lots of guards here. Lots of guards here. Quite a few guards here. Wow, this is quite the industry. We would not have seen anything like this since many years ago in our travels. And this almost looks hastily constructed. Everything's just kind of plopped into place. There seem to be a lot of guards here. And this feels a lot like some of the camps we would have found out and about or in our travels, when we traveled into areas where military had recently come through and they established camps to force workers to help keep and restore buildings in the area. Ah, refugees. Yeah. Hunger, terrible hunger. First bad harvest, then rice became a luxury. Oh my goodness. Well, come live with us. Sounds like you're a skilled farmer. We will have a space for you. I don't know about this place. There's something suspicious about it. It just seems like it's not built with the people in mind. This place was built with the production in mind. Yeah. What's the name of this place? Misake. We're focused on iron mining. If you have serious matters, see Soburoki. Barube? He's in charge. See his mansion. I did see his mansion. And I didn't see him. I think we can wait to speak to him. Not enamored with the idea of talking with him right now. We'll see about this gentleman. There we are, and back to our home. We gotta keep rotating through our straw. That's gonna be an important resource as we go, especially as we upgrade the structures we have here. And it's all for aesthetics for now. Yes! That is so good. Alright, now let's unlock this thing and get the oil press built. Chiseled stone. Ah, well, and we just struck the moment where... Ooh, wasabi. It doesn't seem like I'm getting extra resources here. We were supposed to get 35 wasabi. I wonder if we can get to that. Interesting. It doesn't seem like that skill that allowed us to get extra resources is... Oh, it's 50% of the time. I tell you what, that's what it is. Never mind. Looks like our greatest need right now is actually the stone. And I think we should have enough resources to take care of that. It's been a very productive season, I will say. Don't want this to overlap our field, but I do want it to be somewhere out in this region, as it makes more sense for it to be near the rock that we're working with. And obviously there's our field. Maybe I can take and move the field, or we can just take out some of these trees. Let's do the tree idea. Whee! Perfect. You love the sound of all the rapid building. Another hammer down. At some point we'll have better hammers. Now can I build a better roof? 600 coins. I mean, what am I saying? Let's just buy it. 15, so that's it? Yes, we're gonna build a cooler roof. Time to start having better roofs. Now, as far as buildings are concerned, this one is handy in the sense that we can get 2 mining stations out of it. Oh, dearest me. We're going for furniture, production furniture, and we want mining. There. Get 2 stations out of it. 3 stone to go. Okay. And we could get 2 stonemason stations, but this is one of those buildings where it's oh so hard to fit all the stuff. I kind of wonder, can I just get rid of this thing? Okay. I want to have more space. Kind of I'm hoping that I can get 2 of those job stations out of this. Oh, that was the wrong one. My apologies. What we're thinking here is that if we can get 2 mason stations out of this, that'd be nice to have a pair of workers here. Lots and lots of stone. So we need 3 stone. 1. And more tin. Oh, you know, we never did plant hemp, but that can be a season 2 thing. As in, that can be a next year thing. We'll progress slowly. Oh, I hear wolves again. Always with the wolves. Oh, there was a hidden stone in there. Okay. Now, we need more people to work. Yukomi will not need this job anymore. Let's change her job to working at the sunken hearth. And yeah, that's going to be a big deal. I don't think we need to make this much though, so we aren't going to waste the rice on it. We can have her working at 50% capacity, actually even less. About 40 total units. I just don't want all the rice to be gone. We have other things we'll want to do. And this gentleman, farming is going to be a thing, but also between farming and mining, those will be our major jobs. We will need people to gather stone. There we are. Oh, now what's this? Did I forget to finish something? There we go. There we are. Perfect. 230 stone, so next season we're set. In the water field, obviously we're running out of rice bags, which is another thing to solve. And I'm going to call 3 days the amount of time it takes for us to rotate seasons, which means we're at the end of our time now. Ah, yes, chiseled stone. We're in a position where we can get chiseled stone, but it might be just a pinch of time. Now we can make linen. Great. Something worth fixing. Another thing that is worth having, but also we'll fix in time. Too important to have rice, so it's definitely worth doing this. There we are. Perfect. Now, we never did get Doburoku for Auntie, which is a problem. And we didn't get enough wasabi to show that person. Maybe we can see if we can take care of that here in the evening before the end of our day. Oh goodness, another person. Oh, good. It's just one of our friends. Let's check where we got to. We're here, we have meals, we have heating. Heating's not great, so what we should do here, forgot to put our things into our oil press. We can also cook up some fish to make our oil. Oh, that's right, chiseled stone. That's why we did that in the first place. So that means we need more stone. That being the case, let's get that done. I want to make sure we have our heating needs before we try going into the seasonal divide, since through this seasonal divide we need to finish making a watchtower. Oh, look at that, a level 3 rabbit. That's a deadly bunny. There's a lot of tin and a lot of copper over here, which is good. I'm glad to see that. Unfortunately, right now, I'm only here for the stone. Oh, copper and iron, huh? There we go. Darn it. Okay. Rough start there. You would laugh, and I deserve to be laughed at this point. Walking into a mine without a pickaxe is a silly thing to do. But it's okay to make silly mistakes. Okay, so now stone it will be. Maybe I can just get by with picking things up. Two wolves, huh? You know what? That's really in the way. There we are. Kind of don't want to get eaten, but... Oh, that was bad. excess stamina, which is helpful. There we go. Gotta get those headshots. That's the key. Wait, we need that stone. I'm getting the end of the day here. Can't give us too much extra time. Alright, I'll go back there and we'll get that wolf before we go, but I just saw this stone here on the roadway, so we're gonna take it. And of course, perhaps a minor camp in the area. Inari's friends. Nope, that's another camp that we are not. We have fought enough people this season. It is time to count our blessings that we have lived this long and travel on. There we are. We are just gathering up a little bit of stone. When I say a little bit, 46 later, right? We need enough stone that we can build some chiseled stone for finishing a workstation or two. Then we're done. With the goal that we're going to have our workstations ready for oil. We can use that for our heating needs. Oh my goodness, there are a lot of wolves here. That explains why this hunter's hut is no longer occupied. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of wolves. I think we'll not try to get into more trouble. Oh wow, this is right by our village. Okay, well, that might mean that we need to do some work here. Look at all this tin. We'll have to take some of that out. Do we have any food that we can eat? Now we're sitting here starving our poor character. Cooked rice is helpful for villagers. Oh yeah, of course. Cooked rice is not as good for us. It does a lot of needs for our people though. Pretty soon we're going to have a lot of needs to take care of for our villagers, and pretty soon it's going to be important for us to have those towers that we already have up, but for our actual needs. Alright. Only 25 stone. That one can wait. We're not even using the station yet. Come back and finish that workstation back in the Hunter's Lodge later. Because right now the key is to get the oil press started and working. There we are. Because that's going to be great. Okay, cool. Oh, fantastic. We can actually make more things here. I forgot about that. And we have tons of fish, but we do not have enough edible mushrooms. That's a bit of a problem. This is a good one. Perfect. We'll make some of these real quick. We do have the meat, and we have easy access to soybeans, which is a good thing for us. And also lotus seeds. Perfect. Now, for medical needs, we will have lotus root. And Auntie is stuck without her Doboroku. There we are. That's a big thing, and that's a wonderful sight. There we go. We'll feed ourselves, enjoy some food before the end of the season. And then next season, we need to have people finding the edible mushrooms. There we are. And I don't think we have to worry about a lot of things spoiling, but it might not be a bad idea to cook some things up so that we are ready to go. Then we need to put our workers in their stations, and it is the end of the season, and we can watch what occurs over seasonal change. So oil, we can make, wow, we have lots of fish, go figure. Yep, we're not going to be able to make Doboroku, so that's unfortunate. Soybeans, rice, and stick. It's too bad that this doesn't take care of more needs. So this is 30 and 35, which is just not exceptional. There we are, and now we have oil already. That's so good. Let's check our needs. There, look at that. That's a big jump right there. Beverage needs, we're so okay on that. Okay, then it's time to put people to work. Let's put you and change your job into the Mountain Watchtower. And then you to there. And then lastly, I think we'll go for that. Because those jobs are jobs I want to change over time anyway. Alright, now when we look at the map and we say, how have we done? We've got one region completed this season. We don't have to rush. So we won't rush. We have time. And I have a long story ahead of us to tell. This is going to be a big deal, though. Having seen the slaves in this area working for... I haven't met their master yet. I haven't met the headman yet, and that's going to be important. But I think after meeting the headman, unless he turns out to be... No, there's no way. I mean, a kind and benevolent person does not own slaves. So that will be a problem for her, and we'll need to liberate Iwasake for that reason. This is a bit of me cleaning up, because I left a lot of bamboo behind, and I don't want those resources going to waste. Let's be sure we do get all of this. Ah. There we are. I think it's worth getting a little bit more. We'll drain this axe and then call it quits there. There we are. And then... oh, I'm going to have full inventory. No, it just didn't go to the slot. There we are. Alright, that should do. It's good to have a large collection of bamboo. We'll use this in our construction projects. We're going to need to build our merchant's lane. I was going to say a merchant's quarter, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to build an entire merchant's lane where we have a walkway, which is all merchants down the pathway that meets the two villages. So when I think about that, I'm saying that when we walk down this pathway, it's going to be a combination of merchants stations and temples, small shrines. That's what we're going to do between the two villages. I think I'd like to have a marker so that I know exactly where these two divide. Oh, let's see if we can get away with that. But to do that, we're going to say that we're moving the bell. And then we're just going to look for what's a convenient marker that tells us the edge of our village. So now I'm just running with this thing after holding down T. Now at that tree, I kind of figured at a distance it looked like it. Sure enough, that tree is the marker in this part of the path right here. So let's build something simple here. And that is the max. There we are. And now we have a signpost. This marks the edge of that village and the continuation of the other. Perfect. Alright. With that, we have a season to change, and let's see what comes about across the divide. And thank you for joining me for this episode, as always. I look forward to telling more of the story. I have an entire progression of years that I've planned out. I have an entire series of events that we'll talk about over time and how it connects to the greater events in Japan at the time. By the way, for those who are interested, for those who are about the history, at this time, the spring of our previous year and the current summer is the summer of 1578. And if you're curious how old our character is, this is when she is 25. And we'll talk more about how time changed and where she's traveled from and to, and what they've encountered in their travels as they went. we are. So now we get our watchtower project completion. Here we will easily have our second region and unlock more stuff. And of course have another dynasty level, which is a win. Now part of me wishes I would have gotten more Lotus before the end of the previous season, but honestly, we'll be okay. And there we go. Now we did not get the basic brewery, so we failed our quest for Akko. She's going to be upset, but I feel like Kuroi-Ran would not be okay with her asking for booze. And that is one of the problems that Auntie had, was that she happened to like the sauce. And that has been a sticking point for Kuroi-Ran. I said Koku. Kuroi-Ran and her frustrations, as father was also a bit of a boozer. But that, in time, has come to look to her be intentional, and that someone else helped him on that route. It was not necessarily his choice. Alright, with this, we need to assign our workers and get people up and running. We'll need a lot of stone, and we'll need a lot of other resources as we go. It looks like we're running out of grass as well, so it's time to get Auntie back on her gathering. Grasses are a big deal. I think what we'll do is we'll do hundreds. Because we still also, I would very much love edible mushrooms. I think we'll do another workstation there too, because edible mushrooms could be a really useful resource as well. And then I believe our other worker would be here. We do need bigger fields, by the way. This is not a good thing. Using undersized fields is a problem. We could do the oil press, but honestly, I don't think that's vital. I think our carpenter stations are maxed out too. It does not appear so. Carpenter station 4 then. I think it's time for us to start getting paper logs. It is just, we're doing well with our building, but it's important for us to get more. Alright, as I said, take care y'all. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I look forward to seeing you next time around.